What's up, everyone? Speedy here. In this 1v1 video, we're going to be doing 2 live games as well as 1 replay review. So let's get right into it. Okay, here we are in game number 1. So starting things off here, a little bit rusty. It's been a couple days since I played because taking a couple days off. I had a crazy week. Lots of doctor's appointments and also an important midterm exam. So definitely needed some time. Just going to try to use this reset. Can't overcommit here. Also can't speed flip or wave dash very well. But I can position. I can position. Okay, I gotta shake the rust off, guys. I gotta shake a little bit of rust. It's been a couple days. I'm recording this on Sunday night, so day before Monday recording. Yeah, bro, you can't fake like that. If you're gonna fake, you either commit to the fake or you don't like half commit. Can't do that. He's probably not gonna do that again. I push it right. Better to be defensive there. That was almost perfect. Gotta use this backboard here. Oops. Boop. Yo, I'm not gonna lie, that's an insane save. I fucked that up so badly. That works! Dude, that's hilarious, bro. What a rusty start. Mechanically a bit rusty, but it's funny. Just can't commit here. Kind of makes a bad decision committing there. Goes for the bump. That's a good touch here. Control touch here. Remember to use that rear cam. It's gonna pop over. Slow there. Could have been a little bit faster, honestly. There, that was poor time. What I could have done differently, really, is like right here. Once I flip here, I understand the reason. I was trying to dodge the bump, but by flipping, I'm committing position. Pop it left. Nice. Pay attention to where your opponent is. If you try to watch for your opponent, recognize if they're on the right or left side of the ball. Typically, opponents at this rank are going to try to push or pull, depending on like the way they're flipping. If you work with that and recognize that, so like here, kind of like a dead here. Oh man, imagine. Nice. Really, really important that you use your fakes. This is a huge moment where if you just put pressure on the play, pretend to go and then stop, opponent's going to think, oh crap, I got to stop, or I got to go here. I can't go for this yet. Fake here. Opponent commits because they feel like they have to go. They're down multiple goals. And potentially, they get a save there. It's actually a poor shot there. It gives him possession for free. Pop this. Can't commit here. I'm actually going to go for corner play here. Good challenge for my opponent. Careful about the recovery there. Not the best recovery. Grab this pad. Challenge early. If your opponent's trying to go for a potential... Nice. GG. If your opponent's going for a potential pinch play, you can see that because they lost control. Typically, when an opponent loses control like that, and you see them like now trying to get ready to nosedive, that is your early tell they're going to go for pinch. Do not give them the free space. Recognize that they're trying to go for that pinch, and then be in a 50-50 position or a challengeable position to prevent that pinch to just go. Here we are in game number 2. Kind of trolled that kickoff. Put myself in a spot where the opponent's going to think he can get a buff. Can't go, can't go. I get back to my corner. Super obvious child from the opponent. Here, grab this boost. And don't do what I did. Yeah, don't do what I did. Yeah, just a pretty stupid play, honestly. Gotta go for, like, that kind of play. It was low percentage. Just too much separation, honestly. The play was never going to work. This guy keeps doing weird off-tempo kickoffs. Nice. That's better. That's better. Really poor position, like getting into that first time I got scored, though. But that was better play. That's just funny. You left. Bro literally said, nah, fuck that shit, I'm out. That's hilarious, bro. Bro literally just said, nah, I'm out. He gets bugged. AFKs for a minute, and then just straight up leaves. Here we are in game number 3. That was definitely a goofy second game, but all good. Let's flip that right. Gotta be careful about the playing too fast here. I slow it down. I was gonna go for a bump potentially. There we go. Now we're in a spot we can clean things up a bit. Good defense. Yeah, gotta be more careful than that. Like, you can flip around and act as mechanical as you are, but you need to recognize, like, that is just not a position you want to put yourself in, dude. Like, you want to go for ceiling plays and try to be, like, above what you're actually going to be doing, cool. But recognize it's a pretty bad play. as was that. Yeah. Sorry, but that's... I've gone against a lot of people that are very underranked, and it's very frustrating when you're going against a lot of people that troll. And as somebody that's just like trolling a play, like easily if they thought higher percentage, like that play was never going to work. Get overcommit here, so grab that boost and then turn back. Just put myself in a position where I could shadow. Try to force the early play. Even if it doesn't work, I don't care if I get swerved on. You know why I don't care? Because I would rather try there and learn about what I could do better. But yeah, this guy's a blizzard loser, whatever. Cool. Doesn't mean anything. What does mean something is like how I can improve my challenge there. That's more important to me. As a once player in this rank, I am very much, you know, it's very much common to go against people that are very below this rank. That's a pretty poor challenge. Just put myself in a bad direction there, honestly. I'm so much like, just by that play there, just could play it better. Grab this pad, miss this pad, that's all good. If I didn't miss that pad, be in a good spot, but all good though. Very much plenty of game left to go, so all good though. It's very shitty. Good job, Speedy. Where's this gonna get the beat? Ah, whatever. Brush it off. Pretty well done. Nice. Plenty of game go. We got this. Take the freebies when you get them. When they happen, it's a good opportunity. Good patience. You have that speed mechanics, but that's a basic save. That's the common thing. Just because they're Grand Champ or somebody that's quote-unquote higher skill doesn't mean they're unbeatable. Does not mean they're unbeatable. I was losing this game, but now I'm in a good spot. Stay on it. Could have played that better. And I don't go because he plays stupid. And he gets rewarded for it because I also position stupid. What could I have done better? Instead of putting myself in that spot, not be on that opposite side of the goal side, be more on the left. Good boost grab. Be patient here. That's why. Be patient this time, and you get rewarded by being patient. Play it smart. Let him troll. Let him commit himself into a bad spot. Again. Okay, so here we are in the replay portion of the video, and this is definitely not the best start, as you can probably see here. Definitely a pretty rough start. Find myself behind in the game, or much of the game, for a good while, until I really start kind of kicking up my play and really recognizing, look, some of the maybe, you know, frustrations from last game, you know, the game against the GC were a little frustrating, and found myself, you know, kind of bleeding that mentally over. So I said, okay, you know what? Once I got scored on here and made that mistake, and I was like, okay, I need to reset. You know, I need to kind of mentally cool down a little bit, you know, see what's going on, see that, you know, yeah, go against better people, go against higher level opponents, especially in ones. It's very common. That's why I play ones. But it doesn't mean that I don't get frustrated, especially as a person that's not really at above like an intermediate level. I would say intermediate, getting into advanced, but my opponents are really tough. And one of the things that's difficult is you're going to see, like, a lot of these are very like straightforward plays. This is right here is a pretty big mistake though. Just way too far to the right. The way I'm landing is way too far to the right. And so what happens is, like, if you pay attention here, pay attention to the center line. So use these boost pads as a reference point, right? And so what I'm going to do is go back a little bit. And as I get ready to jump, look how I'm completely to the right. I'm not even inside the center line. I'm completely to the right. I'm a full car width to the right. So what happens here, in order to try to recover the potential kickoff here, or the actual kickoff, what I try to do is then I come up and I pace myself a little bit to the left. That's the second part of the mistake. The reason why it's a mistake is because what it does is, not only am I way to the right, opponent is much more on the center line. If you pay attention here, the opponent is pretty much close to dead center, so they do a much better kickoff here, and they single jump here, and then they flip in a way that's a little bit later so they can get better control. But it's also the fact that I'm not pushing it left while I'm already out of the way. And so what this does is the ball is going to naturally pitch to this direction, and so that's why the ball kind of pushes the way it does. Makes it really awkward, and it becomes obviously unsavable because I'm out of position. What does this mean in relation to the play? What it means is essentially is, in order to improve your kickoffs, you have to learn to recognize where you are in relation to the center line. The center line is the most important reference point when it comes to your kickoffs. It's also important that you recognize the nameplate of your opponent. That's where the kickoff strategies start to come in. But in terms of just, say you eliminate the existence of an opponent, you just focus on you at the kickoff, so you're practicing and training, focus yourself, especially on your straightforward kickoffs, try to focus on being as close to the center line from you to the ball. There is a perfect line, a path of least resistance from you to that ball. And if you learn to get as close to perfect to that point and really make it super efficient, that means you're going to have a truly faster kickoff. And so if you couple that with a professionally or just a very, very high quality speed flip, and then you do that all in conjunction with each other, you are going to be pretty quick on the kickoffs, and it's going to be hard to beat. The problem is if you start coming off that center line, what happens is it creates awkwardness, and you want to be really careful about this. This is a perfect example of that state of awkwardness. I try to recover, and I point the ball, I point my car, so the ball's here, I point like this, and now guess what? The opponent's here, and all they have to do is just hit it center, and I'm naturally flipping it away. That's just going to push the ball out of this, and it's out of my control. That's dangerous. Don't make that mistake. It's really critical, though, to watch for these mistakes. This is a good way to learn. It's not bad. I like that. I like that kickoff. Do a slight delay with this play here. What did he do exactly? Because I see his kickoff is a weird one. Okay, he does the speed flip, is kind of like a side flip almost, and then he's just way to the side. Yeah, that was definitely, from my perspective, it just looked really awkward. Do a good job here getting the wave dash. That's good. Free flip here. That's good. I like that. Even if it doesn't go in the net, it's good pressure, and I like that. I don't like that though. It's a bit of a rush touch here. I like the idea of the turn here because the opponent's in a position where they're still kind of awkward. But the problem is where I am is if I can try to put myself in a slightly better spot, like the idea here is correct, but it's just the actual touch itself is really not. And that I say is correct because from this position here, early chowing, it is risky. It's not the highest percentage thing, but if you have momentum while your opponent does have momentum, you see how he's turning away? He's not turning into the play, but if I were just a little bit more to the right here and flip it here, boom this ball here, and it bounces like that. This is a very idealistic, perfect scenario. But if you want to go for these plays, you need to learn how to execute as close to that perfect scenario as possible, because that's what's going to create that situation. Now, realistically, of course, if you want a more safe play, is right here. Make this play, grab pad. Instead of missing that pad, you grab this pad, and you shadow for a moment, and you just wait. Then you stay close enough. So say the opponent's right here. You want to be like right here. You want to be a little bit distant so that you can read if they're going to go for an airplay or if they're just going to dribble it normally. But you want to be far enough away to where you're not actually like getting too close to it and the opponent can change tempo and throw you off. So there's an element of bounce to this. If you're going to challenge here, you need to, again, you need to do this very specifically. Challenge a little bit wider and then get that bounce, and the opponent won't be able to, because the opponent turns away. They're kind of coming up like this, and then they turn like that. They turn away from the play. That's a brief moment where technically, yes, that is challengeable. So I could have done it. I could have definitely done a better job here. I like that possession change here. This is good. Keeps the ball close. That's okay. I remember this was really gross. I get like a really gross delay hit here. The way I do this is essentially right here. So once I get control here, is getting another bounce, getting a high bounce, and then because I kind of long press the A button, that gives you a moment to actually get a slightly longer duration before you can flip, or before you actually lose your flip. And so then I use my flip to essentially kind of almost do close to a speed flip and get this flick out of it. This is actually really nice. This is definitely a very good play. So it creates a question. What is the moral of the story for this particular game? And sometimes it's good to take breaks. After last week, I found myself really tired, really exhausted. Several doctor's appointments, car appointments, trying to get stuff with my car taken care of and trying to deal with the flat tire situation. Got that all sorted, now squared away, fortunately. And also trying to make sure I'm doing as well as I can in college, and went through a pretty tough midterm exam and passed it. I know I'm glad I passed it, but I could do better. And knowing that I could do better, it means that I have actionable ideas and objectives for me to build on. So I needed to recognize that and take a minute or two, or in this case, a couple days to step back. Take a break from Rocket League, play some like Minecraft or something, play, some Baratron, but play some stuff that's chill, away from Rocket League for a couple days, and also just spend a little time offline, rest, drink a cup of coffee and relax, take a nap, take it easy. Watch YouTube, watch some RLCS. By the way, fantastic 1v1s with the RLCS this weekend. Let me know who your favorite 1v1 player was. This is definitely some really excellent stuff. This was a lot of fun to watch. Definitely check it out. If anything, while he didn't make it past top 6, I will say that Zapatos, incredible player. I really love his unique style of play. He is one of the most unique players in Rocket League, especially in the 1v1 scene, and I love the way he plays. One of the things is that from my perspective, as somebody who wants to go into the sports psychology space, and as somebody who's trying to become a budding psychologist in the field, I see that there was a lot of pressure that he put on himself, and that's a natural component of being in a very high pressure scenario. You're in top 6 pro level 1v1s, and you're in the top 8 in the entire North American region, and that's something you can be very proud of. He did very well. He made obviously mistakes, as we all do, but I saw those things as somebody who wants to get into and who's actually working on becoming a sports psychologist. I saw those things and I just saw opportunities for growth. And in that, I also recognized that sometimes for me, like in my situation, I relayed that back to me and realized I needed a break. I needed a couple days to just take a couple days off and just rest. Still watch some RLCS content, as I did. I watched a good amount of that, especially today yesterday was really excellent. Really excellent stuff to watch. But it taught me that through watching and studying Rocket League, you can learn a lot from not just playing. Take time off ball, guys. Take time off ball, off the field, and take a little time for yourself and just learn the game, study the game, pick up on things. One of the things that I learned this game that really helped me in terms of improvement and really like started helping me understand how to really develop what I wanted to do was that I need to recognize that mechanics, they don't necessarily just go away after a day or two break from the game. This is, by the way, this is a pretty bad mistake. This is a really poor decision. I'm going to get into that in just a moment. But taking a break is a good thing. Breaks are good. So the question of the video, and you're going to see in the title, it's like, are breaks good? And are breaks helpful? And the answer to that is if you use them correctly. If you use breaks as a component of your learning and improvement, yes. If you just don't play and you're trying to improve and you just straight up don't play, you don't think about the game, you don't do anything about the game, you don't study the game, you don't do anything about it, and you're not doing it constructively in a way that can help you learn, and assuming obviously you're getting good rest, mental and physical rest, that is of course key, and you're just simply just not doing anything and you're just kind of coming back into the game, obviously you're probably going to struggle. Mechanically, I wasn't perfect in today's video. I wasn't really up to like what I felt like really could have been my best. However, like as you could see, my wave dash timing was definitely bad. It was bad. But I started finding my confidence pretty early, and I started finding that no matter who I was going against, even against like upper level opponents, like I find myself in a position now where I'm gone against enough grand champions in this game mode that instead of feeling like, oh man, it sucks I'm going against a grand champ, it's like, no, I want to beat this guy. I want to win. I don't care how frustrated I get with myself, and I know like certain plays they're doing are stupid or they're trolly and they're just taking advantage of the fact they're going against a lower level opponent, that in my mind, I want to win. I want to push for that. And that's how you get better, is that you push yourself to get better. You don't just simply, take it on the chin and just give up. Say, okay, I'm just going to take it. Okay, I'm just going to be like, okay, this guy's going to flip reset. Oh, okay, well, I guess he's going to flip reset on me again. Whatever. No. Screw that. You're going to focus on what can you do better? What was in your positioning that led to you being flip resetted on? What could you have done better? Could you have spaced differently? Could you have challenged earlier? Could you have put things differently? If somebody was going for ceiling resets, how can you prevent that from having all that open space? The way to improve this position, though, is recognize position is dangerous. This is a bad touch. This puts the touch into a place where the opponent is going to challenge. It is a challengeable position for the opponent. The opponent is now in a position where all they have to do is backflip challenge, as they did, and I'm in a position where now I'm recovering from my movement forward. The opponent can easily pop it behind me, as they did, and my momentum is pushing me towards their goal side. His momentum is pushing him and the ball towards my goal side. Where do you think the problem is? That, right there. This happens so much. It's so funny. It's like a meme in ones now that people just do that corner fake kickoff, and I don't mind it. It's funny. In Flake's wrote the SSL 1v1 series, he talks about like it was nice to see like people doing that, but people abuse this. People honestly, and early on I made this mistake too, and I've learned to use it a lot more in moderation and sparingly when I know I can, like I feel very confident that it's going to work. But the problem is a lot of people just do this way too often. I like the wall dashing here. I like the aggression to really force the play. Really there, that's smart. Just recognize the opponent's in a position where they could bump. I like the timing here. Good pressure. Even if it doesn't go in right away, it's good pressure on the play. It's a tough game to come back from, but it's definitely a game I could win. Pretty aggressive from the opponent. Opponent does a lot of early challenges, and they're on 0 boost. Look at their boost. They're 0 boost, guys. If your opponent's 0 boost like this, and they're going to keep challenging like this, and you just have free possession, by the way, don't touch it like that. Get a slightly more of a cut here, because that's free space. Pay attention to your position here. You see, boom, immediate recovery. But look, the opponent is like fucking losing control of themselves on 0 boost. And if I just get a better control touch, bring it forward and just boost into the ball and literally just go whoop like this to the goal, that's a free goal, guys. That is just 100% a free goal. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, like it's as easy as it gets, like right there. Because I lose control, I now recognize I lost the mental space of the play, and now I have to back off. It's okay grabbing this boost here. Opponent trolls the play, and I troll the play back by trying to insta-shoot. Instead of flipping, just single jump into it, or just simply drive challenge essentially into the ball. Just drive into the ball. It's just a lot more effective. Just drive into the ball. A lot better. You'll do a lot more with it, and you could actually maintain accuracy because you're actually moving and setting up your car on the ground towards the angle that you know is going to be suitable towards their goal. If you're not jumping, you're kind of like now in a space where now you're trying to like correct potential inaccuracies in your rotation, and now like because you're doing that, you hit the ball in a weird way that's just not accurate and it's not powerful, and that's what happened. So try to be better with it. I don't mind the aggression here. Yeah, I don't mind that. Awkward, but still, like, don't mind that. Immediately go back for boost. That's smart. Opponent actually could have boomed that. They do a good job of control playing here. This play coming up here was a perfect defense, though. Watch. Perfect backboard defense. Perfect patience. Could I have done this differently? Yes. In an ideal world, if your opponent's coming up like this, sometimes like a better opponent will take advantage of the space more, and they could potentially set up for an air dribble bump. So you want to be careful about being on the backboard always. Typically, being on the ground and waiting until the opponent is in a position where they're coming up here, and you can read for that. Then you can come up. If their opponent, like if you see they're really in front of the ball, that's where you want to be careful about being on the ground. You want to come up on the wall because it's a safer position being on the wall than it is on the ground. The reason is because once you jump up on the ground, it's a lot easier to get air dribble bumped. But if you're on the backboard here, you can really defend that more easily. This is a safer space for you to work with physically. And so this backboard space here, I do a good job of being patient, recognizing the position. Here, jumping up with momentum, grab momentum. The opponent has no momentum for the play. And I just use the simple movement of the play and get myself a free goal. Did the opponent overcommit? Yes. Did I do a really good job challenging that? Also, yes. This is a really, really good challenge and good way to play the defensive space. Recognizing the patience thing. This I like. That was a very nice play. Could I have done that differently? Yes. But it was still a good play. I don't like that. I understand the reason. It's because I wanted to single jump here because I thought the opponent was going to chow here. So I was trying to single jump chow just on the chance that they did. But the problem is I put the ball into an awkward spot. I actually could have just shot that. But the problem is, again, is the risk component of it. I don't mind the pre-jump into that. That's not bad. Here, this was awkward. This is a really funny, awkward moment. It's just kind of like waiting. And then here, should have actually gotten scored on here. If you want to play this differently, here, instead of just not moving, just start moving forward a little bit, or you just simply single jump and you turn a little bit so you can deaden the ball, and then you can try to flip towards a certain direction with momentum and then use that to help you. So if it pitches in that direction, you'll have momentum already, and you'll be able to get up to speed just a little bit faster, especially if you use like a zap dash. You can get really, really fast momentum, but you don't even have to do that much. I like that. I like that off-wall recovery. That's good. Also, really, really important. I remember in this exact moment, I made it a point to not overcommit for that pad in the back by the wall. So that one right here, that pad that the opponent's next to, do not commit to that. That is a very terrible position to put yourself in, because not only is it too committal, it's easy to get yourself like very much into a bad spot. So grab this pad here, and you see how instantly I have 23 boost. I have now essentially plenty of boost to make a play. Bit awkward, but still okay. Make the recovery. And here, just be patient. I like that side dash there. That's good. And here, even if it's not perfectly accurate, just try to put pressure on the play. Not accurate, still puts pressure on the play. That's okay. I'll get that zap dash. That boost is not there, and I get scored on. I remember getting scored on here because I legitimately thought that boost was still there. Let's see. Let's do a count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Damn. That's so fucking sad. I mistimed that by half a second. That is sad. I actually thought I timed that perfectly, and I got to it, and the boost wasn't there. And as soon as I looked and I realized, I was like, that boost wasn't there. All right. I was like, that's really tilting. Game's still winnable, but that was tilting. In this moment, I said to myself, okay, I need to just go. You know, I need to try something. Just push the kickoff and play aggro. And I do a good job here. It's not perfect, but I like the aggression on the bounce here. The opponent's 0 boost, and I had boost, so I know I'm going to have like likely good momentum with the play, and I just get there earlier than the opponent. If I hesitate there, I definitely would have not been able to score that. But because I stayed aggro, I stayed tight to it, and I did not give up on the play. Now I put the position in my favor. Also coming up here, you're going to see me troll. I'm not going to lie, I definitely troll. But this play coming up here, try to probe for a play, just trying to force the opponent awkward here. Do a good job here. It's just putting the opponent into a bad space mentally to where essentially you could take advantage of that position and really force the mistake. I get a pretty nice goal here, and then I immediately, like after the next play, I troll. It's a really stupid troll. Realistically, obviously, I missed that boost pad, by the way. It was really bad to miss that because a better opponent would have done a better job. Here, just early jumping here. Here, that's fine. If I got better control, I actually could have scored that. It was open, but not the end of the world. Here, just being patient here. Just trying to be careful. Again, just put pressure on the play. Force the opponent to make a position here. Here, then grab this pad. This play here. This is a really nice ground air dribble. And then go for the bump play and force the opponent low. This was really nice. I like that play. This is definitely a good play. Let's watch it back and kind of understand. So I'll get the bounce dribble. Remember, guys, use the sidewall as your teammate. You have plenty of opportunities to just bang the ball here. Doesn't have to be a super hard hit, but just enough to where you get that vertical pop. And then you go for this really nice play. This is a great air dribble play, and it leads to the bump play, force the opponent up. This was very good. That was a great fundamental play. Learn to use the field around you. Remember, you have an entire field that you can use to your advantage. Use that field. This is where I troll. So, problem. I forward flip, creating separation. What you want to do here is side flip. It creates a softer touch that's more controllable. You'll also have momentum towards this boost path. So what's going to happen is, like, I'm going to put this quarter speed so you can see. Instead of front flipping it out that way, you want to side flip it. You want to go like bang like this, because the ball's going to come up here. It's not going to be perfectly here, but it's going to be about here. You want to come up here, and then you can do a wall play. That gives you options. So this was a definite mistake here. Just making that play, getting a forward flip here instead of a side flip here, or even a leftward diagonal flip honestly would have been suitable. Not perfect, but it definitely would have been like suitable for the play, because that just makes the play a bit more awkward. I still commit to it, which is where I troll. I stay committed to the play, and because of the amount of separation, the ball was really high above me at the time, and I was really low in relation to the actual like play. So like the ball was here, I was like way here on the wall. You want to be really careful, because now you're having to really fight the gravity of it. So the gravity of the movement, you're really trying to go upwards. The ball's not really totally going down yet, and now you're pushing for it, and it creates awkwardness. So you want to be careful about that, unless you have really good control and you're able to get a little bit higher and actually get a control touch. That's one thing, but this was not a high percentage play, and it started because of the misplay on the flip. Use a side flip or a leftward diagonal flip, and you will do better getting into the wall play, because your setup for the wall play will be a lot cleaner, and now the wall play itself becomes easier to execute. It becomes easier to perform. But when you forward flip like that, you create that much separation. What I mean by separation essentially is it's separating in terms of the two axes of movement. I'm going this way, ball's going that way. Look at that separation. It gets worse and worse the further you go. That's dangerous in terms of what you're trying to do for the play. It's offensively dangerous. It's not going to lead to high percentage plays. It is only going to hurt you in these situations. Even a pro player, and when they make these mistakes, even if they make that separation, they have to learn how to make those corrections. And those separations are likely, in many cases, obviously at the higher level, in the highest levels, much smaller. But do those mistakes happen? Yes. Do they become counterable in many more situations? Absolutely, yes. Higher tier opponents are going to see and spot those separations and those moments where you don't have full control. You may have 70 to 80% control, you have 90% control, but you may not have 100% control. That little momentary lapse of control, opponents that do a good job with the read defense could very much pick up on that and then make decisions based off that, and then know whether or not to challenge, or they make decisions from that decision of challenging or not challenging, and then they go from there. That's my understanding so far. I may be incorrect, and please correct me if and potentially when I'm wrong. But I sincerely do believe that at the higher level, you do want to be in better control of your touches here. Do I think that play is in itself from the very beginning a bad play? No. Is it a riskier play? Absolutely. 100%. 100% is a riskier play. Does that make it a bad play? No. Risk doesn't necessarily mean bad or good. The thing is that when it comes to plays like this, the risk has to be calculated to your level of execution, and your execution of the play is what's going to drive whether or not it was a good or bad play. So it becomes a chain effect essentially. And so from this point, I recognize, yeah, I trolled. I screwed it up. Go for a delayed kickoff. That's a bit risky if the opponent's going to do what they did here. They drove through, tried to play aggro, stayed with it. That's fine. That's unfortunate. I got separation there. If I didn't get so much separation, would have definitely been better. I like the defense there. Just patient defense and recognize once the opponent wasn't really going to go. But then I score off the kickoff here. I do a good job of really controlling the kickoff play here, and then the opponent messed up their kickoff, and just instantly you gotta score that. You just gotta put it in the net, you know, and win that game. So remember, take breaks, but take constructive breaks, guys. Breaks are incredibly useful, and they're a really, really useful tool to help you learn if you use them correctly. That being said, if you'd like me to do replay reviews of your games, feel free to let me know in the comments section down below. And if you enjoyed watching this video, I'd like to ask you to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Speedy Man out.